CSGO Xbox port that was never updated. It looked very, very promising.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive just celebrated its 7th birthday last week, and it's fascinating to see just how much has changed since its introduction in 2012. The game has seen 2 major UI overhauls, countless balance changes, the removal and redesigning of several core maps, and a competitive scene.
Just so you know, because some people don't know, there was and still is a console version of CSGO. And as this video title implies, maybe if you now boot up PS3 or Xbox, they never updated. It may be a journey into the past.
That's played a big role in shaping the way we watch esports. In appreciating what's changed, it's easy to forget where the game started. A humble new start for the franchise, designed to facilitate competitive play and welcome new players with casual game types and tooltips, all while bringing the franchise's presentation up to date with Valve's design language. Veteran players remember the day the wooden doors in Dust 2 died, but few remember CSGO's console versions, and really, who could blame them? Global Offensive's oft-forgotten PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 ports are, at their core, unsung heroes. CSGO started life as a simple port of CS sourced to consoles, headed up by Washington-based developer Hidden Path Entertainment, whose name you might recognize from their work on the Defense Grid series, or the remaster of Age of Empires 2. After seeing Hidden Path's work on the port, Valve saw an opportunity to evolve the series as a whole, and thus Counter-Strike Global Offensive began development as a full sequel in March of 2010. The game would still be released on Xbox 360 and PS3, but rather than just bringing the 6-year-old CS source to console, it would be a whole new game released on PC as well, an opportunity to bring the franchise back to the forefront of online gaming. The rest is history. And while a new Counter-Strike might have been inevitable, Source's ill-fated console port is responsible for shaping Global Offensive. But in a stroke of irony, the very decision that sparked CSGO's creation might have been the same one that doomed the console experience it was originally intended to be.
Huh? Bro, okay. This looks so wrong.
After a closed beta that lasted the better part of a year, CSGO released simultaneously on all 3
What the hell is that deagle?
platforms on August 21st, 2012. At launch, the 3 versions more or less had feature parity, short-lived. Since version 1.0, CSGO on PC has received 350 updates, give or take. The console version has
2 updates.
This game is a time capsule, straight back to the earliest days of Global Offensive. It's hard to find a concrete answer on how many updates the version received, if any, but CSGO on console was officially abandoned.
LOL! There's Aztec, one of my favorite maps! Chad, I used to play this map always in high school. Oh my god. Aztec Office. What the hell is this? That's Aztec as well, no?
Officially abandoned by summer 2013 at the very latest.
They didn't have enough maps to fill their whole picture. 2 times Aztec.
As evidenced by the presence of the scaffolding in B Tunnel, which was removed just before the game's first birthday. This isn't Valve's first time abandoning a game on console. Valve's 7th generation console games are notorious for receiving little to no post-launch support. Disputes with Microsoft overcharging for updates led to content that was free on PC being paid on Xbox. And the console versions of Team Fortress 2 are in a similar state to CSGO, with neither receiving the vast majority of content updates or balance patches that completely transform the game in its later life. The PS3 version of TF2 never actually received a single patch, with long patch exploits running rampant, and moderate spawning props giving themselves god mode and no-clipping into spawn rooms. One would question why Valve seems so unwilling to financially commit to projects they've already spent money on. Situations like these and the Half-Life Mac fiasco suggest that Valve just doesn't play well with others. Perhaps CSGO being abandoned on console shouldn't have come as a surprise. So, for all intents and purposes, this is a time-
Bro, this looks so crazy. Show gamer card, LBRBA for camera.
Time capsule back to CS.
Was there a lot? Because in console games, in console shooters, you always have a lot of, how do you say? Like it aims for you. I wonder if CS had that.
Go as it was over 6 years ago. And god, is it weird to see how much some things have changed.
Assist.
The CC75, R8 Revolver, M4A1S, USPS, MB5SD, and Rescue Kit were all added after Console Strike's final update. Weapon prices-
It doesn't look like it has aim assist. So it says it had nothing, okay.
and balance are all unchanged. And remember when the AUG scope looked like this? I could spend all day talking about the various differences here, but to put it bluntly, this is CSGO in its infancy. Much more important is, how does it play?
Can you still play it? No shot.
Counter-Strike is, at its core, a game of precision. There's a reason that players trying to climb the matchmaking ranks spend hours practicing their aim in workshop maps and changing placebo settings to be like the pros. In a game where one shot can often equal one kill, aim is paramount. In games like Overwatch, not all playstyles require pinpoint aim, and hit-scan heroes are an optional addition to a team, meant to counter specific other heroes. Even Halo has
I love Widowmaker. Such a nice agent.
bullet magnetism, generous hitboxes, and copious aim assist to account for the controller.
I should play Overwatch on a really high level as well if you don't know. Gamer, top tier level, multiple different games. One of the best Roadhog players in EU, one of the best hookers, highest hooking percentage, I'm telling you, bro. Like 65% or something. And not just, oh yeah, I'm only hooking when I know that it's a good hook. Like actually like hooking always when cooldown is, it's crazy, bro, I'm telling you.
Counter-Strike has none of this. 1 millimeter off and your shot will connect.
Yeah.
Simply put, Counter-Strike is the antithesis of other competitive shooters. Its sandbox is simple, but a low time to kill, strict hitboxes, and punishing damage make for a skill ceiling like a cathedral. There is nothing inherently wrong with the control scheme. It works well enough in most games. I do have some gripes with the way weapon switching works. Puzzlingly, the efficacy of Half-Life 2's D-pad menu was changed in favor of awkwardly spamming the shoulder and Y buttons to cycle through weapons and equipment. This makes carrying and using utility a chore. Why did they change it? Of course, to make room for voting? What the f? Seriously?
What?
Put this in the pause menu. Navigating tight areas of maps is a bit tricky since the inherent design of analog sticks means that your character continues walking for a bit after you stop holding forward on the stick. All of these factors are inconvenient, but they aren't what kills the experience. That blame rests squarely on how the gunplay works on console, or more specifically, how it doesn't.
Bro, this CSGO console seems like a terrible idea, man.
I probably don't have to spell this one out for you. A first-person shooter that requires pinpoint accuracy does not mix well with the controller. The best way to explain this is to show it done right, which brings us to Counter-Strike for the original Xbox. Similar to how the original
This is how you play. You better watch your mouth, bro.
concept of Global Offensive was to bring an adaptation of CS sourced to consoles, CS for Xbox was designed specifically for console play, with a basis in Turtle Rock Studios' Counter-Strike Condition Zero. The basic formula is all here. The game mode, maps, guns, they all make their appearances. Where CS for Xbox differs from its source material is in its gunplay and how it was adapted for controllers. Hitboxes are larger, aim is fluid, and the frame rate is solid. CS for Xbox may not have been a perfect adaptation of Counter-Strike, but it's sold like hotcakes, and it feels very competent, even today. This game proves that Counter-Strike's formula can absolutely work in a console environment. And Rainbow Six's entries, old and new, only solidify that a tactical shooter does not need a mouse to be playable or fun. It just needs to be tweaked for the platform. By sharp contrast, CSGO's gunplay on console is identical to that of the PC version. Aim assist that formers assure me exists is all but unnoticeable. There is no comfortable sensitivity. Either it's too sensitive and I can't make precise adjustments to line up headshots, or the sensitivity is too low, and reacting to an enemy push is nigh impossible. And if you thought head glitching was annoying on PC, wait until you have to line up a headshot with this thing. All of this is exacerbated by the fact that most of your time on this game will be spent fighting bots, who by merit of being computers don't have to struggle with controllers and thus aim just fine. Dying to a bot on PC is embarrassing. Dying to a bot on console is commonplace. The Xbox 360 version of CSGO was restricted to a regular controller, but the PS3 version had two optional methods. Players can simply plug in a USB mouse and keyboard, granting the means to absolutely stomp. More interestingly, the game supported the PlayStation Move, making CSGO for the PS3 look and feel
What the hell is that?
like one of those Wii Call of Duty games. This is really interesting, and something I'm curious to try out for myself, if I can get my hands on some Move controllers. So, it handles like ass, but at least on 360, everyone is on a level playing field. And with the game being added to backwards compatibility on Xbox One a couple of years back, the servers aren't completely dead. I have still yet to find a full lobby, but I've gotten close. I was pretty consistently
It has voice chat, right?
able to find players in matchmaking, with empty player slots being filled with bots we could take over after dying so we could continue fighting. And man, get ready to experience a lot of this.
Why is it not dead?
Let's go, everyone.
Oh my god.
And even some of this.
Banned for team killing the bots.
Terrorists win.
I feel like I'm really trashing this game, but it really isn't a great experience. Seemingly peer-to-peer hosting and bad netcode make for a stuttery mess with lots of disconnects. If you want to play deathmatch or arms race, you'll have to take it offline with bots, which still...
Yo, where's the inventory tab, Gango? I assume it doesn't have the case opening feature. Does it have it or no? There's no Steam inventory. Oh, hell nah. Yeah, I'm never playing this. Yeah, this isn't interesting for me, like the Xbox version then.
Which still seem to have a bit of stutter. Maybe
If it had revolver cases, Bravo cases, I'd be down to try it.
bot Ulrich has Comcast. But, and this is a big but, at this point, there really is no reason to play this game as a serious competitive shooter. Why the decision was made to bring CSGO of all games to the backward compatibility program is beyond me. But oddly, I'm thankful it was. Despite all the network problems, abysmal controls, and outdated balance, playing this long-forgotten port has reminded me of things I once saw every single day that I'd forgotten years ago when a patch took them away for good. Walking through old Nuke and Train, two of my favorite maps in Counter-Strike history, as I remembered them before the redesigns, was a wonderful reminder of what once was. And this is to say nothing of the people I encountered. Xbox Live has ironically become a very antisocial place, with public voice chat channels sitting empty and with little to remind you of the human behind the avatar, except a screen name plastered above your head. But when playing a dead game like this one, there's a sense of camaraderie among the few keeping it going. The shared knowledge that you strange few are the only ones in the world playing this game that everyone else has forgotten and left to rot in the furthest recesses of the digital marketplace. Occasionally, I'd run across someone with a mic, but rarely would they speak English. Mostly, I'd hear them chattering to themselves about the game, or to their family or friends. Some were children, likely playing the multiplayer trial that for some reason is still available in the store. Perhaps the weirdest thing about my time with this game is I saw a lot of people who genuinely dumped a lot of time into it, with medals adorning the slots adjacent to their screen name which sat empty next to mine. People would often come or go rapidly, popping in for a round or two before disconnecting, likely to return to whatever more relevant and likely much better game they usually played. Often, small gatherings would break up when the server would crash, or the host leaving would shut down the game. I was pretty resigned to playing with only one or two humans at a time, who I'm sure were surprised to see me, as I intruded on their empty server where they idly f***ed bots. But then, on the last night I captured gameplay for this video, I struck gold. I'd hopped in on a very populated lobby on the final match on Inferno. Game concluded we moved to Dust 2, which... nothing really ever changes. But still, we got up to 8 players, and honestly, I started to see the light. I was having genuine fun. Sure, the players who for some reason spent a lot of time with
I'd love to try this shit. Oh, the old maps, try out some Aztec, man.
Console Strike basically steamrolled. But I have to say that the last thing I expected to see when I loaded up this game was a team of players coordinating strats and using utility. Sure, they were silver level strats at best, but they sure beat the hell out of this guy saving his rifle in demolition mode. We had fun. Players dropped occasionally and were replaced, but Dust 2 finished with a mostly full lobby. Someone called a vote to play Nuke, and almost everybody agreed. On pistol round, I went to A, but the T's would like to go outside, so my teammate and I pushed behind them, and this happened. Of course. Try as I might, I never found anyone from that game again. My one and only quality session with this antiquated game cut short by bad netcode. What a shame. And with that, my CSGO console journey was over. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like.
What a video, man.
I realize this is actually the newest game I've covered on the channel so far. But that's something that's gonna change very soon.
Drop it a like now, or like follow. It's 3 years ago, I didn't even know. What a banger, Casey. And Valve abandoning a game after realizing that nobody plays it. TF2 vibes a little bit. TF2, they don't give a lot of love anymore. This game, they completely abandoned because nobody plays it.